This will be for the con exercise equation practice with midpoints. Okay, so it's given that K is the midpoint of JL. So before I do anything, okay, if K is right in the middle of JL, then I know that this segment here on the left is congruent or equal to this segment here on the right. Okay, so I'm going to put the notches on each segment to indicate that they are congruent. Congruent means equal length, by the way. Now it says here, JK is 9x minus 5 and KL is 7x plus 3. Okay, these algebra expressions represent lengths. So the length of JK is 9x minus 5. And the length of KL is 7x plus 3. All right, so I labeled the length of each segment, and they want us to find JL, the distance from J to L. Now, as we said before, they told us K was the midpoint, so we know the segment on the left, which is JK, is equal in length to the segment on the right, which is KL. All right, so that's your equation. You just set them equal to each other. And the expression for the length of JK, we said, was 9x minus 5. And the one for KL is 7x plus 3. Okay, so we want to collect variables or x's on one side and numbers on the other. Usually I like to get rid of the smaller coefficient with x. So since 7 is less than 9, I'm going to do a minus 7x on both sides. Okay, you could have went the other way, but you'd wind up with a negative x, which is fine, but it's a tiny bit of extra work. 7x minus 7x cancels. 9x minus 7x is 2x. Okay, since I have the x's now on the left, I want to get these negative 5 to the right. The opposite of negative 5 is positive 5. You do the same thing to both sides. 5 minus 5 cancels. Bring down the equals, and 3 plus 5 equals 8. Okay, solving for x, the opposite of x times 2 is divided by 2. You want to do the same thing to both sides. 2 divided by 2 cancels, and x equals 4. Okay, now that's not what they asked us. They asked us for the entire length. So you want to take that x and plug it in. All right. So in the first one, if I plug in x equals 4, I'm going to get 9 times 4 minus 5. And of course, 36 minus 5 is 31. Now, I could just multiply that by 2 or add 31 plus 31, but I think it's better to check, if you have time, to check the other line segment and make sure you get the same answer since K is a midpoint. So let's plug in the 4 right here as well. Okay, that's going to be 7 times 4 plus 3, and 28 plus 3 is 31. So we got the same answer for both. Okay, and the whole thing going from J to L, you just add the 2 halves. Okay, so JL is just going to be 31 plus 31, which of course is 62. Final answer. And like I said, you could also do 31 times 2. That's the same thing. So click in the box and just type 62. All right, one more. It says B is the midpoint of AC. So B is right in the middle of segment AC, meaning that the one segment on the left will match in length the one segment on the right. So I put those little tick marks to indicate they are congruent. All right, it says AB is 6x minus 5. So in place of the line segment AB, we'll write 6x minus 5. And BC is 8x minus 11. So this one here is 8x minus 11. And they want us to find AC. Okay, so since these are congruent or equal length, I am going to set AB equal to BC. So the one on the left equals the one on the right. Okay, remember, no bar on top. That represents the length of each one. And this algebra expression, 6x minus 5, is for AB. And this one here, 8x minus 11, is for BC. Okay? Like I said, I suggest you get rid of the smaller number with x, but it doesn't matter. You can do it either way. The opposite of positive 6x is negative 6x. We apply that to both sides of the equal sign. And the 6x's cancel. That's just 0. 8x minus 6x is 2x. Okay, since I have the x's on the right side of the equal sign, I want this negative 11 to go on the left. So the opposite of negative 11 is positive 11. Okay, apply it to both sides. 11 minus 11 is just 0. That cancels. Bring down your equal sign, and negative 5 plus 11 is 6. Solving for x, the opposite of x times 2 is divided by 2. You apply that to both sides, and 2 divided by 2 cancels. So we're left with 6 divided by 2, which is 3. So x equals 3. And that's not what they asked us. They asked us for the length of AC. So we want to take that 3 and plug it in. All right, so first, I'm going to put in 3 in place of x. So that's going to be 6 times 3 minus 5. 18 minus 5 is 13. Okay, and a great way to check that is to make sure you get 13 over here as well. So take the 3, plug it into the other segment. That gives us 8 times 3 minus 11, and 24 minus 11 is again 13. All right, so each half is 13. So to find the distance from A all the way to C, you just add the 2 13s. And of course, 13 plus 13 is 26. Final answer. Okay, and you can also say 13 times 2, same thing. So just click in the box and type 26.